to the wall. But looking good for some really close racing today. For 15 laps in this, after the qualifier, of course, in the opening sprint race, and that'll be followed by 45 laps in the feature. Really, I expect it to be quite frantic racing. Right, let's get cracking with some qualifying. We're flustered after all the technical issues. Right, so everyone getting out there, we'll go on board. Who we go on board with? Let's have a look. TJ looks like he's the first out on track, so he'll get the honour of the on board. So here we go, heading up the hill to Druids. This racetrack is such a quick racetrack. A couple of slow corners, but most of the corners very quick, going to be quite intensive on the tyres in that feature race. Then you come out of Druids, it brings you round into Graham Hill, across Cooper. You can use loads of that grass on that right hand side before you come into Surtees. The original circuit was there on the right hand side. It was just a small kind of kidney shaped amphitheatre. Before they extended all of this section down here. This is the Pilgrim's Drop, and then you've got the Hawthorns at the bottom here at Stormfly, easing his way through in the car up here, so he'll get the onboard. This is Hawthorns here, and just dropping down a third gear just to get that rotation back on the power again, using all the road on the way out as you head down towards Westfield. This is Westfield here, another quick right-hander. The road goes round to the right-hand side through Dingledale before you come down to the Sheen Curve, which is a really tricky right-hander. You just have to let off the power, really. Then you've got this Sterling's left-hander, which takes you round Clearways and the Clark Curve back to the main straight, the Brabham straight here at Brands Hatch. This is Clark Curve. We're going to clip that inside apex, use all of the road on the exit, stay away from, of course, the gravel, and then you can see here that the Brabham straight just eases round to the right hand side and takes you across the line. Expecting to see qualifying times in the high 38s, low 39s maybe. Maybe a sub 38 if someone gets a really good lap with a bit of slipstream. Druids is the slowest corner on the circuit here. You have to be so patient getting on the power as well on the way out. You go too wide, you end up in that wall or on the grass. You go too narrow and you're not going to make it around at all. So 43 straight out of the pits. I expect this to be a pretty hot lap, somewhere in the 38 stroke 39. Stormfly back in lobby 1 after hiatus last week. He missed, of course, the week before, which meant he ended up in lobby 2. Didn't even win, actually, 0. Was very quick last week in lobby 2. Won that race, but unable to make it into the race this week, so couldn't get into lobby 1 because he's not racing. I actually feel for 0 a bit because he's been relatively quick, and I think if he could make it every week, he'd probably be challenging for a title. He's certainly up there in terms of pace. TJ is just behind him. We've got Wiggy in the lobby as well. Sharky, of course, terrible week for him last week. He had a technical problem, which meant he retired to the pits and DNF that race. He's back in lobby 1 this week purely because of the drop of numbers for Easter. Having DNF'd last week, he would have ended up in lobby 2, but we had to do a lot of a reshuffle because of a number of dropouts. Good evening, Rob. How are you doing? Right, so that's the first hot lap of the race. That's not sub 140 as I expected. It's a 40.3. TJ with a 41.6 in that BMW. Sharky though, fastest man out there so far. That's a 39.5, but Bonnie Val not far behind him. 39.5 also for him. Nothing in it separating those two at the moment. Stormfly third on that second row with Tyler Lansdale as company. It's very short qualifying here, so they're only going to get a couple of hot laps to set their time. The Truth Serum in those 140.8, Mobile Edge also 140.8. Nothing separating those two. In fact, nothing really separating The Truth, Mobile Edge and Fubar Philantis, all in the 140.8s. Stormfly into the pits. Is he going to get new tyres and have another run, or has he resigned himself that he's happy with that time? Nuke there with a 41.5. TJ just behind him, 41.6. Old man Jay, 47.1. Really struggling with this car. He's really not happy with this car. Has been struggling with it all day. I say all day, he hasn't been driving it all day, but yeah, he's not been happy with this car at all. Wiggy hasn't set time yet, and he's got a penalty. It's going to be difficult to get a time on the board. I don't think there's going to be enough time for him to get round and set another hot lap, so he may be qualifying towards the back of the grid here. Sharky is in the lead of this race, of this qualifying at the moment, with that 1:39.5. Can he improve on that time? Just ensure that Bonneval doesn't steal away that pole. Bonneval tucked nicely into the slipstream of Sharky as they head across the line. And Bonneval steals that pole right to the death, being in that slipstream with Sharky right there was really helped him take that pole position. That's a 1:39.3. Sharky is a 1:39.5. Couldn't improve that time round. So it's Bonneval on pole with Sharky joining him on that front row. Detrue Serum with a more improved time with that 1:40.3. He shares the second row with Tyler Lansdale. Stormfly and Fubar on row 3. Row 4 is Mobile Edge with TJ, Wig and Nuke and Wiggy on row 5. And row 6 is Old Man Jay, who's really struggled with this car. Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting race, Rob. I think you're right. It is going to be. You're right. It is quite an important race from the aspect that it marks the start of the run-in towards the end of the championship, being that we're in the second half now, firmly in the second half of this Alpha series. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see who starts to rise to the top. Remember, there is a dropped round, which is dropped sometime before round 9. I've just got a smile for the missus. She's going out randomly like 8:15 at night, and not like normal people to the pub. I reckon she's going shopping somewhere.
I'm going to Tesco.
She's going to Tesco's. She has already been to Asda today and Home Bargains and Sainsbury's, and she went there yesterday, and B&M's. But yeah, there we go. Money getting spent. Right, so Bonneval is on pole. Who are we waiting for to cross the line? It is not crossed the line. Well, yeah, someone hasn't crossed the line. It might be Stormfly because he had to come out of the pits, didn't he? Yeah, it's Stormfly. He stopped at the pits, so he has to do that full lap and get himself on the way around, and then we'll be ready to go cracking with the first race. Yeah, if they've got parts on, it doesn't matter if they've got the parts on, because if it's BOP, they can't use them. They can't get any benefit from them at all. And to be fair, Bonneval was still fastest, and he's got a completely stock car. If someone had been like half a second faster than him, then I think we'd have a question. But because it's BOP, you can't adjust the aero anyway, so it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. It's purely aesthetic. Right, there we go. That is confirmation of the qualifying there. Bonneval taking pole position. That might actually be the first time he's beaten Sharky to a pole this season, I think. I could be corrected. They haven't adjusted anything, TJ. They can't adjust anything on the car. It's aesthetic only. Right, The Truth and Tyler in 3rd and 4th. Stormfly in 5th with Fubar 6th. Mobile Edge 7th. TJ in 8th. The 9th is Nuke. 10th is Wiggy. And Old Man Jay in 11th position. We are ready to go. Race to begin shortly. We will be off and away pretty much now. Here we go, rolling start. I'm going to watch into turn 1. There is a bit of a gap between them. There shouldn't be too much carnage into turn 1 now. The point of the rolling start was to try and prevent turn 1 issues and having to have a red flag. But here we go, we're with Mobile Edge looking up ahead as they head into turn 1 for the first time here at Brands Hatch. Everyone through cleanly so far. No one going wide. looking good behind as well. TJ gets a good run on Mobile Edge from the start. Nuke and Wiggy, Old Man J, all through nice and safely. TJ making a move up in Druids, up into trying to make the move on Mobile Edge up to 7th place. Mobile Edge are holding on to the inside line. They cuts the corner, and that allows TJ just to take the racing line through, and that allows him to make his way there. Mobile Edge though losing places, back now in 11th position. You can see here where he just tries to cut in early, and a little bit too early, he gets on the brakes, he just skids off to that left hand side, and everyone else has to avoid him, but piles through, and he's back in the last place. So Bonival already started to find a bit of pace in that secure record car, with Sharky following him as closely as he dare. You don't want to get too tight, particularly through these tricky fast right-handers. Can unsettle this BMW quite easily. Detrus Serum running there in 3rd, already starting to pull a little bit of a gap from Tyler there in 4th, but at the moment it's ART from LRC, from Sector 7 from LRC, with Black Flag running in 5th there with Stormfly, who is just closing in on the back of the Australian driver. But at the moment, the Brits, Bonival is flying the flag for the Brits, but it is it's dominated by our colonial friends in Canada and Australia at the moment in that top 5. Fumar Falantis just started to see a bit of a gap to the back of Stormfly. He's got TJ for company, who's up to 7th after that little mistake by Mobile Edge on lap 1. Into Druids he goes. As you can see up ahead, Stormfly really getting close. Now he's got a penalty there, but he is really close to the back of Kaizan, who's desperately, and you can see there, he nearly had the same problem Mobile Edge did, turning into that left-hander. You can see the front of the car just wants to pull you around the corner. You have to brake this car in a straight line. It does not like any turn on the wheel when you put your foot on that brake. Stormfly getting a lovely little slipstream on the back of Kaizan. He's going to be serving a penalty though, so unless we get the move done beforehand, it's not going to be a lap where he gets to take that 4th place. But Tyler doing a fantastic job of holding Stormfly at bay, and he's actually allowing those front 3 just to start edging away. Is there a way these guys can work together a little bit, maybe? Give him a little nudge, help him through, so they can get up and try and get on the back of that front 3, and maybe try and make some inroads into front 3 start. Now remember, it's not all doom and gloom for these, because it is top 6 reversed for the feature race, but you want to get the points. If you want to be in this championship, you'll want to get the points. Here, that's the penalty being served. Kaizan gets a little bit of a breather. Fubar gets to see a bit more of the back of Stormfly's car. Out in front, that's Bonival currently leading the way now by 0.6 of a second, and you can just see him and Sharky, the 2 championship contenders, just starting to edge away from the rest of the pack and showing their dominance, and the reason why these 2 are battling it out for the championship as it stands. Detrusium, who had a wonderful finish last time out, finishing in 2nd, already 2.1 seconds the Canadian driver is behind those front 2. You can see where they're battling behind, and Stormfly already on the back of Tyler yet again. You can see how that battle is actually allowing the front 3 to get a breather, to pull away. They're not having to worry about who's coming behind. And at the moment, it's Stormfly really looking like he can put a move on that top 3. But until he can get around Tyler, Tyler goes very, very sideways round there, and that allows Stormfly just to get the run on him as they drag race it down to the right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Stormfly taking 4th position. We'll have another look at Tyler's little sideways action as he comes through there. You can see here, look how sideways he got. The wrong one. There we go. Missed it. We can do it again. There we go. See how sideways he got as he comes around there. He's fighting just to hold the back of that car, but luckily doesn't lose it, but it does lose in that place to Stormfly, who's picked up yet another penalty of 0.5 second, and that's going to basically give Tyler that place back, because you'll see here that he'll lose about 1 second of time with the 0.5 second penalty. It'll slow down as he goes through that penalty line. I don't think he served it this time round, so I think he's going to get to hold on and get to serve it on the next lap, which will be lap 4. Right, down the order, Wiggy struggling to stick with Mobile Edge. Mobile Edge has worked his way back through the field from last place. Remember, he made that mistake just out of Druids on lap 1, and he's already fought his way back up to 8th position. He's 5.8 behind Nuke. 3.4 ahead of Wiggy, still running in 9th place. He didn't have a really good lap 2, but he's starting now to find a bit of pace on this, which is lap 4. TJ running, he had a terrible lap 2. Lost almost 20 seconds, and that's given him a bit of work to do now to try and catch back up with the field. And he's 30 seconds out off the lead. And old man Jay really struggling with this car, currently running 20 seconds behind in 11th position. Bonneville started to put in hot laps. That's the fastest lap of the race, 1:39.3, very similar to his qualifying time. But Sharky's still very much sticking with him. We'll go on board with Sharky, as you can see just what he is looking at. And that is him closing in, or trying to close in, on the back of Bonneville. But at the moment, Bonnie just seems to have the edge around here. And I wonder if that's the home field advantage, with him being British and pretty local. The same way that when we raise these Aussies on Mount Panorama, they seem to absolutely dominate, being that it's their home circuit there. But Bonneville doing everything he can to keep Sharky at bay. Sharky not able to get close enough to even think about, maybe offering the car up to the inside and giving Bonnie something to think about, some defending to do. So he's really just trying to stay with him at the moment and pushing really hard. Oh, you saw he got on the sand there, very nearly losing the car, but the 18-year-old Australian driver managed to get that back under control and wrestle it back onto the racetrack without kicking up the sand and losing the back end of that BMW. All the road used there, you've got to be so careful not to go too far right. You can go almost off the track completely onto those rumble strips, but a little bit too far and you find yourself serving a penalty. Don't want to be going too far off there because there's a lot of sand. Back in third, that's the Truth Serum from Canada. Already 5 seconds behind those front two. They are handling the Truth. Unfortunately, others are not. Stormfly has found his way around Tyler now. You can see now he's already starting to pull away from him. He's got him in his slipstream at the moment, but he's starting to make a little bit of a gap. Now he's got 2 seconds to make up on the Truth ahead of him. His fastest lap so far, 40.3. The Truth, a 40.5. So he's got a little bit of an edge in terms of lap time, with just a couple of tenths a lap. So he should be catching him in or around, unless he can find a bit more pace, of course, in or around lap 13, lap 14. So it might be a good little run-in for third between these two. Of course, that assumes that the Truth doesn't make a mistake between now and then. He is one of 2 Sector 7 drivers running today. There's Nuke in the other Sector 7 BMW. Gone for a very understated. Usually Sector 7 cars are black and quite bold. That's quite a understated Sector 7 car, but I do like what they've done with the artwork there. Wiggy not having the greatest of days today in that BMW. He's starting to find the pace now, but he lost a couple of seconds on lap 2, and that's given him significant work to do. He's back ahead of Mobile Edge, who's running there, also running for Sector 7. He's running 3 Sector 7, running for LRC, I apologise. But very similar actually to the Sector 7 cars, aren't they? Look, that's the Sector 7 livery there, and that is the LRC livery. And I know what you're thinking. Why Sharky got something different? Well, he hasn't today. He's actually running the same livery as everybody else, which is unusual for him. Usually he's making some sort of statement with his car or a tribute to somebody. He is still sticking with Bonneville, still trying to stick with Bonneville. It doesn't seem to be able to break that 0.7 of a second barrier. He is still getting slipstream from him, still picking up some tow from the Amigos Racing Team driver. But Bonnie will want to just open up that gap by a second if he can, just to give himself A, a bit of breathing room, and B, just allow him to not have to worry so much about giving Sharky the additional help around this circuit. Stormfly is closing the gap on the Drift, and he's closing it very, very quickly. Took a whole heap of chunk out of him on that last lap. That wasn't a 145, it was a 140.3. The Truth was 140.7. So he's already within 1 second of him. Oh, and I very, very nearly saw the end of Stormfly as we know it. You can see here, he goes into turn 1, gets on the brakes, right on the edge of the racetrack on the way out. See how much he nearly loses. Look at that, the back of the car wants to step up, but he does manage to rescue it and carry on the charge after the Truth Serum. Within 9/10. But Tyler is not to be outdone. This now is the battle for third. The Truth running in third, Stormfly in fourth, and that's Tyler there running in fifth. It's a 5.4 second gap to through, right? I'm just going to lean and get a drink. I'll get down a minute. Ask my daughter who's got a back brace on to try and bend down and get me a bottle. Terrible father. All social services. Right. So yeah, we're looking at the battle for third. The Truth running in third at the moment. Tyler is starting just to drop off, and you can see there he gets loads and loads of grass there, but luckily it doesn't cause him too many problems. Can he stick with them? How long can he stick with them? Because at the moment it looks like Stormfly certainly did have the pace when he was behind him, and he's starting now just to edge out of that 1 second window. Now 9 seconds clear the front two from that battle for third. They're just finding exceptional pace there out in front. Bonneville and Sharky just completely in a league of their own, which is why it's these two battling for the championship here in this International GT Challenge. And of course for Sharky and Tyler, the Australians, it's quite early in the morning. It's like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning for them, so credit to them for getting up at that time of the morning and racing, because I certainly wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't be wide awake enough to do it. There's not enough coffee in the world to get me doing this kind of competitive racing at 6 o'clock in the morning, I can tell you that. That's of course assuming that I'm ever competitive when I'm racing, of course. So there is the Truth, and you can see in his mirrors, that's all you can see. You can see a lot of Stormfly and a little dot of Aussie there in the background. That's Tyler Lansdale trying to chase them down. Right, Fubar in 6th position. He's on his own, really. Can't see that battle for third up ahead. And there is Nuke and Wiggy with a potential battle brewing back in 7th and 8th. 7th there is Nuke, the American driver, ahead of course of Sector 7 Racing, and Wiggy there running in 8th, 2.9 seconds behind him. And he's starting to find a bit of pace now, 40.3 for him. Nuke in the 40.7s. Quite a bad lap, that last lap with a 144.9. So that's what's allowed Wiggy just to close that gap on Nuke. Yellow flag up ahead for who? Who's that part on the... That's the Truth. The Truth making a mistake in turn 1. Let's have a look and see what happened. And he got all kinds of wrong coming around. He couldn't rescue it. The back steps out and facing the crowd has to give him a wave and try and get himself back on the track. So that's cost the Truth third position. So that moves Stormfly up into third. But now, of course, he's got Nuke all over the back of him. His teammate. Are they going to be helping each other? He's going to help him along. Or is Nuke going to say, look, listen, it's every man for himself, my friend. You win third, you didn't hold on to it. My turn to go on up the road. Can the Truth pull away from his teammate at the moment, though? Nuke looking very strong, revving it out, right in behind him. He's going to get a run on him with this slipstream as they head down towards this right-hander. And he's on the brakes a little bit earlier, which is probably sensible when you're running behind, particularly when you're running behind your teammate. It's going to be difficult to find a way through here unless, of course, the Truth gives him some room. But the Truth just seems to have a much better pace through that sequence of corners and then round Dingledale before they start heading back towards the start-finish line on the Brabham Straight, of course. So Nuke not able to capitalise on that. That has brought Wiggy into this battle though. He's getting a good run now. He's within 0.4 of a second of Nuke. Is there a potential move into turn 1? What about the exit out of the final corner? That is a much better exit from Wiggy, the Welsh wizard in this BMW. I think he actually drives the BMW in real life as well. So should be feeling an affinity with this car. Into turn 1 they go. Much later on the brakes than Nuke Head. But I suppose when you're in that dirty air, you've got to take that into account. Into Druids they go. No gap up the inside. Didn't sell him the dummy. Just going to let him bide his time before he finds his way through. I find that's how a lot of people make the overtake at Druids, is by selling the dummy there. But it didn't that time, just held on, using lots and lots of that racetrack on the way out. Great run though, as they come into Surtees and not finding a way through just yet. Now this is the key part. There's a good long run here as they head down the hill towards this succession of 3 right-handers. If he can get the move done before the first one, then we've got a game on our hands. He had a look up the inside, but Nuke did a really good job of just defending it enough to make it not worthwhile to throw the car in there, and he was just not quite close enough for it to be a viable option. He probably still could have gone, and I'm sure Nuke would have given him the room, but he got a great exit out of there, and that's allowed him to go side by side round that final right-hander, and down they go into the braking zone, and that's Wiggy. He's ahead, and Nuke has to drop back and settle for 8th position. Mobile Ledge, he's shown that he's got good pace, but he's struggling with consistency in this car, back in 9th position. The other US driver on the grid today. 10.7 to TJ, and already 1 minute 16 seconds old man Jay, who, to be fair, he's done a 1:43.8, so he is capable of putting in the time. Just consistency is not his friend in this car today. He's not, the thing is, both him and TJ hate the car. They've hated it from day one. They're not really going to have the desire to drive it the way it could be driven. They certainly didn't want to practice it, so that will explain why they're struggling a little bit with the car, not having fun in that car for them. So Bonnie Val has broken that 1 second mark and just edged away from Sharky, that little touch which is making the difference. Sharky with a penalty, that's going to give Bonnie Val some breathing room, and just let him not have to worry about the onrush of Sharky behind him. We're on lap 11 of 15 already, not far off the end of this race. Round to start, lap 12 we go. 1:39.1 is the fastest lap of the race. That is with Sharky, so he has got the pace. He certainly can find some pace here, but whether he can catch Bonnie Val's another matter. 39.9 for him that time out. He's got that penalty. He had that penalty to serve, which is obviously going to cost him. Stormfly 12.9 seconds back. That was at 1:40.4. So he has dipped in to the sub 140 laps, but he is so far back from those two. He spent such a long time tucked in behind Tyler Lansdale, who's now tucked in behind him, and Tyler just seems to be able to find that little bit of pace he needs to stick with the very, very quick Hungarian driver ahead of him. You can just see the back end of that car stepping out as they head round that left-hander. Really dehydrated today. I got up crazy early this morning as well. I think I'm very tired. I think that's the problem. Right, so is Tyler going to be able to fight his way into the top 3 here? It doesn't really make any odds for these two which way they finish, because it's going to be 3rd or 4th on the grid either way. But you want to finish on a podium in every race. You want to pick up those points, because it's still everything to fight for in this Pro Championship, and certainly although Bonnie Val and Sharky are running away with it, there are other podium places up for grabs still. And of course there is still this team competition in which LRC are going very strong and picking up big points. Bonnie Val currently leading the Drivers' Championship, or the Pro Drivers' Championship. Well, I didn't actually download the leaderboards, which I should have done, but I'll do that before the next week. It's a shame we're down to low lobbies, but to be fair, when we were doing the dates, I didn't really factor in Easter, to be fair. I think it's a combination of two things. It's some people didn't get the car, some people did get the car but they modified it too much that they couldn't use it, and that's kind of culminated in some lower lobbies. And also we've got the issue of people that tick in and then just don't show up, which is fine, but it's not hard to say that I can't make it or whatever. You know, it's not the easiest thing to do, get these people organised, particularly when people are so flaky. But I have a plan. I have a plan for the next series of alphas to ensure that you turn up for your lobby, and it's not bonus points. Well, it is kind of bonus points, but it's going to be done on a coefficient kind of thing from now on. So the more you race, the better your coefficient will be, or the more accurate your coefficient will be, should I say. Missing a race costs you a lot more than just championship points. Fubar's been in a bit of no man's land. I don't know who that guy is, but get out. Fubar in a bit of no man's land at the moment. He's 10 seconds behind Tyler, no way fighting for. Who are all these fucking people joining the room? He's nowhere near fighting for this top four, but he's significantly ahead of the Truth. After the Truth's little accident a few laps ago, he's maintaining that top 5 position, which is good point scoring position for Fubar there. Talking of the Truth, he's back to that lovely consistent pace in those mid 140s, and really consistently. That's one thing about the Truth, he's a very consistent driver, and that crash aside on lap 9 for the 156, there's only a couple of tenths in every single lap he does. He's a really good job of sticking within that kind of delta. Did you hear that? That was my dog. That was absolutely rank. If it smells, I'm going to be throwing the dog out and screaming at her. She's been doing it all day, stinky bitch. Right, again, Wiggy been quite consistent. Just on his fastest lap at 140.2. He's got the Truth in his sights, 1.8 seconds. But is there enough time? I don't think there is going to be enough time for him to catch him. We're on lap 14 of this 15-lap sprint race. And this is, of course, for pole position here. This is quite an important position for Wiggy, because currently he starts 7th on the grid. The Truth will start at the front because of the reverse top 6. By gaining that one place, Wiggy would essentially jump 6 grid positions from where he finished. Will desperately want to try and steal that position from him if he can, but with a half-second penalty, it's going to make it incredibly difficult for him to do so. Nuke running there in 8th position, 7.6 seconds back. He's 2.5 clear of Mobile Ledge. He is 36 from TJ, and TJ is 1 minute 33. And old man Jay still a lap back on lap 13. So Bonnie Val really opened up that gap now on this final lap. 3.5 of your glorious Great British seconds. He leads Sharky by on this first sprint race of the GT Alphas series. We'll be following this up with 45 laps. Same car around here, but tyre wear and fuel management, that's going to come into play around here. And it's quite an abrasive circuit, Brands. You really do need to look after your tyres around here. So Bonnie Val's going to take the checkered flag very shortly, heads into the final sector. He has that fastest lap back, 38.8, very good time. He has robbed that back from Sharky. After Sharky looked like he might be finding an extra little bit of impetus. Round the final corner goes Bonnie Val, and he'll take maximum points here in this sprint race and start 6th on the grid for the feature. Great start for the Amigos Racing Team driver, the current GT3 champion, and current leader of the International GT Challenge. Sharky coming home in 2nd. Stormfly 14 seconds back. He's not got his all his own way though. They're going to drag it to the line. Stormfly and Tyler have been coupled together this entire race. Very, very close for those two. Fubar 13 seconds behind. He's got 4 seconds over to Truth and should make it. Has Wiggy managed to chase him back up? Not close enough. I wouldn't have thought. So Fubar round, he's across the line. The Truth crosses the line in 6th. Wiggy will cross in 7th. Nuke is 9.1 seconds back in 8th position, with Mobile Edge not too far behind, just a 1.4 seconds for him. 38 seconds to TJ, and then Old Man J will be a lap behind, lap 14. It's a shame, again, we just don't have the numbers this week. I was toying with the idea of having a full lobby 1 and short-changing lobby 2, but it didn't feel fair to do that. Although there are people that said they were going to come today, and last minute as well, that didn't sign in, but said they're coming lastminute.com, and I jiggled the lobbies around for them, and then they just didn't show up, which is a bit of a, it's not bad, it's a massive fucking mistake, let's be fair. But I've got a system ready for next time out. So TJ home in 10th, Old Man J in 11th. There we have it. That's your sprint race out of the way. Let's get that replay saved. It wasn't a classic race by any means. It was a couple of overtakes, but nothing, no classic by any means. I thought this little sports car would have brought better battles. So there we have it. That's your confirmation. Fastest lap of the race, and the win there for Barney Val of the Amigos Racing Team. We're going to have a short break, of course. I should probably screenshot that. Do need it. That will, of course, set the grid for this upcoming feature race. 45 laps of racing around here. Who have we lost from the room already? Stormfly's left the room. He's going to come back, I think so. I think he might be. What's the word I'm looking for? Changing the oil in the car. Possibly. Or putting on a. Yeah. That is the big thing about these cars. They're really difficult. It's quite difficult to follow, particularly around here, because they are quite fast corners. So it does make it difficult to follow another car in the dirty air behind them, which just adds that little bit more jeopardy to the racing. But that's what we want. We want to see close racing. We want to see cars at least trying to make the moves. And while that wasn't a classic by any stretch, certainly not like some of the racing we've had at Spa, etc. But listen, we've got 45 laps, and it's going to be the track temperature is a little bit lower, but we're going to be looking at tyre wear and fuel wear, which is going to have a say in what happens next. Absolutely going to have a say in that. Right, let's go back to that screen while we just wait for, I think we're going to give it, I think it'll be a 5 or 6 minute break while, 5 minute break, so we're back in 5 minutes. There is a debate going on in chat about additional parts on the car. Now, with BOP on, and I did some testing, obviously prior to the event starting. With BOP on, those additional parts have no effect on the car with BOP, because you can't play around with the settings. The BOP is equalised for everybody. The PP and everything is equalised for everybody. It doesn't have any effect on the car. It is purely aesthetic for the looks. Although I will say, in the spirit of what we're doing, when we do say stock, it is a bit of a shitty thing to do, stick other things on the car when you are supposed to be racing in a car that's built to stock. Particularly if it is giving you an advantage, but we know in this case it's not. It has been tested to make sure it's not. But you know, it is what it is. We will see. If anyone genuinely has an issue with it and they put a ticket in, we will certainly do some more testing to prove the point. And if it does make a difference, then we'll have a look. There we go. Right. So let's have a little look. I want to have a look at something very quickly while I'm here. So if you go into the settings, 502.2 with everything at stock as it should be. Anyway, we are ready to go with the racing. I have learned something from this. Don't introduce any cars that aren't just your bog standard GR3 or GR4, because people just tend to moan and bitch and cry because it's not fair, or for whatever reason they just don't like it. For me personally, I think it's nice to see other cars out there and do some racing in something other than the same old cars week in, week out. But I appreciate the people don't want to do that. So we will, if we do a series for Alphas with other cars, it will be specifically for those other cars, and people will be joining for that particular purpose. But we will not be introducing road cars into it again. Not certainly in these marquee series, like the international challenges and GR3 and that kind of thing. We won't be introducing road cars again, purely because of the headache of people not buying them when they come up in used cars, but also there just seems to be so much. I think the problem lies a little bit with PD as well. They make it quite limiting as to how you can set up the lobby. You know, you can't specify that car has to be exactly stock or whatever. It can be open to interpretation and ambiguous. But we'll see what we see. So we should be ready to go. Just waiting for the grid to be set to top 6 reverse, of course. That will see Detrucerum on pole, having finished in 6th place. It'd be interesting to see how quickly, if at all, because it is quite difficult to follow. Sharky did say, and we saw how you can see cars struggling when they get into the dirty air of the car ahead, struggling a little bit just to keep their car under control and follow a car for any length of time, particularly tucked in behind their rear wing. So it'd be interesting to see how quickly, if at all, drivers like Tyler and Stormfly and Sharky Bolivar, those guys can push their way forward relatively quickly. They're going to have to think about tyre wear and fuel, of course they are. But at some point it's going to come into play. But there's certainly going to need to be some overtakes made. Now, we know there was a couple made because of errors, but you would like to say, I'd like to think that over 45 laps is going to be a bit of action somewhere on the racetrack. So we should be ready to start. We did have 5-minute break. It's already been quite a lot, actually. Let's have a little look. Why can I not scroll up? Yeah, I can't scroll up through the chat, doesn't matter. Right, just waiting for the host to get the round or the race underway. Not quite sure what we're waiting for. The grid still does need to be set as well, so I think he might have gone for a smoke and then another smoke, because he didn't like the car and had a bit of a bad time with it. Got some exciting news. We'll talk about alphas first and what's going on with alphas next. So coming up, we've got 4 rounds remaining in this series. We've still got, of course, the final round at Nordschleife in the I forgot what car it is. It's the Audi RS5 Turbo. But next week we're at Deep Forest Raceway in the phenomenal Toyota 86. That will be followed the following week at Tokyo East counterclockwise in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. Then my birthday weekend of 20th of the 4th, if you want to buy me a present, Alsace Village in the Renault Megane Trophy. That is a really, really cool GR4 car. And then, of course, it's the beast, the green hell itself in the Audi RS5 Turbo. And that will be, at some stage, moist during that feature race. Love a feature race that's moist. And, we're hoping that it goes down to the wire, and that final race is where we decide. So we are ready to go. The Truth's going to be on pole. We have Fubar for company on that front row. Tyler and Stormfly on row 2. They battled it out all through that sprint race. We might see that again from them. Sharky and Bonnie Val on row 3 with Wiggy and Nuke row 4. Row 5 will be Mobile Edge with TJ and Old Man Jay bringing up the rear on row number 5 or numero 5. Or whatever they want. I don't know what foreign numbers are. So some exciting news. Many of you follow the Community Team Cup. We did broadcast a round of it yesterday between Apex Hunters and Race Asylum. It was week number 2. The remaining weeks will all be broadcast exclusively live on Black Flag Racing TV right through to the end of the year. More details on that to come. More than just me broadcasting, a number of different broadcasters broadcasting across different platforms and different ways, but it's all going to be exclusively live here on Black Flag Racing TV. So really looking forward to that. That's going to be an exciting thing for you all. And of course, 3,000 subscribers was hit this weekend. Actually it was hit just before the weekend, but I only noticed over the weekend. And I thank you guys all for your support getting Black Flag Racing TV to that stage. But here we go, 45 laps here at Brands Hatch in this BMW in this feature race. This is round number 6 of the GT Alphas International GT Challenge, and we are through turn 1 safely, are we? A few cars wobbly on exit. You can see that on exit. Those cars just wobbly. But everyone through and nice and safe. The Truth in the lead with Fubar. How long can they hold off the charge of those faster cars behind? Bonnie Val already finding their way around Sharky. Side by side they go. And you can see Sharky, Bonnie Val having to back out of Sharky holding that position, holding that inside line as they come round for the first time into Surtees. This is the whole new part of the circuit. Mistake up ahead from, I think that was, who was that made the mistake? I think that was Fubar. Fubar getting it all kinds of wrong. So you can see here he comes through Surtees, loads of smoke up ahead. Was he clipped there? It looked to me like he was clipped by Kaizan coming through there. So that may potentially, we'll have another look from Kaizan's perspective actually. So let's have another little look at that from Kaizan's view. Where's Kaizan gone? I've lost him. Where's he gone? Oh, he's up there in second. Well, you can see here, Kaizan actually gets nudged from behind by another car. So we'll right. Let's see if we can find who nudged him. Okay, looks like Stormfly nudges Kaizan as we come through. Let's one more little look at this replay. Yeah, so yeah, it looks like Stormfly nudges Kaizan. Kaizan then gets knocked into Fubar, and Fubar comes off the worst from that. That's going to take some picking apart from the stewards later. It's going to be looked at from, I think, all four, well, certainly the perspective of Kaizan and Stormfly. But they're up into second and third, respectively. Sharky down to fourth. The Truth still in the lead, but that cost Fubar some places. He's at the back of it, 6.9 seconds back. Luckily, with no permanent damage, because the damage is on heavy, of course. But it's going to cost him some time to get back into this race now. Luckily, it is 45 laps, but that's got to get picked apart by the stewards. Yeah, a lot to pick apart there, to be fair. A lot to pick apart. There's your race leader, the Truth Serum. And he's, with all the shenanigans going on behind, it's given him already a 2.2 second lead over the rest of the pack. And that is suiting him absolutely perfectly, because this chasing pack now, and it's a four-way battle really, you can see here, it's Bonnie Val, Sharky, Stormfly, Tyler, all battling out essentially for second place. Although this battle up ahead here, you've got Sharky trying to make a move round the outside of Stormfly. It's going to be a brave move to make it there. Stormfly holding that inside line. Sharky looking for the old switcheroo. And of course, while Stormfly is holding off Sharky, that's going to give Tyler up ahead that little bit of impetus just to pull away and head off up the road after the race leader. And into turn one they go. Sharky still can't find a way around. It's a difficult racetrack to overtake. You're kind of relying on the car ahead of you giving you that little bit of room and being close enough just to kind of make that little dive up the inside. And at the moment, Sharky not being able to find a way through. But that allows Bonnie Val to stick with them. And these four are still battling for the lead of this, for second in this race, while the Truth Serum out in front at the moment, still 2 seconds clear. He's able just to kind of edge himself away. Now we're looking, because it's the sports soft tyres, they're not going to burn quite as quickly as the racing soft tyres would. But they're still, and I think racing soft on these cars would just be a massive overkill. And actually they're actually easier to drive with those sports tyres, based on the PP of the car and anything else really. I think rule of thumb is anything under 600 PP and using sports tyres rather than racing. That often seems to be the case. But Bonnie Val still desperately trying to find a way through, but his championship rival Sharky, who's just ahead of him, can't get past Stormfly. Tyler not able to fully pull away, but he has given it a bit of a gap. See Sharky then again, Stormfly defending that inside line. He's not able to take the ideal line around that final corner because he just wants to make sure there isn't a gap up the inside for Sharky to move into. And he is driving incredibly defensively, but that's allowing Bonnie Val to get the run. They head down to turn one. Is he going to make that dive up the inside under braking? That's a great move by Bonnie Val, but he clips Stormfly, does rescue it, and that is Tyler up ahead, makes a mistake. What a lot to pick apart from turn one there. So Tyler heading down towards turn one. Meanwhile behind we've got some shenanigans going on. We'll have another look at those in a minute. And what happens here, it looks like the back, yes, same thing that happened to the Truth, but the opposite direction. So the back end just stepping out for him. So he is down in 8th place. Let's have another little look at the battle that went on behind, because we've got Bonnie Val making that little run up the inside. Sharky opting to stay behind Stormfly. He makes that run, he clips Stormfly, who gets a little bit out of loose and out of shape, stays in behind him. Sharky manages to rescue the car despite going off. Sharky has a look up the inside into Druids, makes the move. Sharky up into second. Bonnie Val following through. He's coming up into second. It's an absolute massive race going on there. What a lot to pick apart from that. And here we go, Bonnie Val again making the move, gets it done this time up into third, but he's got a second to find on the back of Sharky. So much going on in these first few laps here at Brands Hatch in the BMW, and meanwhile it just allows this guy, the Sector 7 driver, the Truth Serum, able to pull away that 3.2 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack, and he'll gladly have those shenanigans going on behind him. Wiggy 2.5 seconds, but there's a three-way battle going on here Really is some great action on the racetrack at the moment. Tyler 7 seconds behind this battle here. Mobile Edge on the outside, having a little look at Nuke, the two American drivers chasing down the Welsh Wizard Wiggy, who just edges it over these the LRC driver and this Sector 7 driver heading into Druids. No gap left on the inside wisely. He does not want to let either of these cars through. Wiggy just holding them off. Mobile Edge dropping back a little bit now from that battle with Nuke. Nuke up to 6th. He's within 6/10 of Wiggy ahead of him. Can he find that better pace now to put Wiggy under a bit more pressure and move himself up the field a little bit? It looks like Wiggy's just finding that little bit of pace. I'm drinking Pepsi out of a massive bowl. We've got cans but not cold, and I had a bottle that was cold, so I'm drinking out of that. I could use a glass, but that would make me that would involve getting one out of the cupboard and then have to put it in the dishwasher afterwards. I can't bother with all that shenanigans. Right, let's have a look down the field because we want to see where Tyler is. He's back there after that spin early on. Let's put him down in 8th place. He's got a lot of work to do now to get himself back up into that top 4. Fubar fighting his way back. He's now 14 seconds ahead of Jay, but he's after that comes together on lap 1. No fault of his own. It's one of those things. Tyler caught him, but Tyler was caught. It looked like by a Stormfly. It was more of a racing incident than not, but it does need to be picked apart by the stewards and had a look at. I'm inclined to say it's more racing incident than anything else, but there is certainly going to be penalties handed out, I would have thought, for that. But yeah, a lot to pick apart there. Old man Jay there running very slowly. What's going on with him? Going very slowly through there. Did he have a coming off the track? Now, anyone got any damage? Fubar's not got any damage. I don't think Tyler picked any up, even though he didn't. No damage for him either, thankfully. It's a very different race if you pick up some damage here. So, pit window. Looking about lap 12 for the first stop. Is it a one-stopper? I think it potentially could be. What are we looking? 24 further laps, or maybe not. It's a 2-stopper. I think 2-stopper is probably the sensible approach. There's your race leader, Da Truth Serum. You can't handle Da Truth. He is now only 1.7 seconds clear now, though, as we see Bonnie Val and Sharky and Bonnie Val getting the right order and starting to chase him down. Stormfly just dropping off that battle a little bit, 1.5 seconds back now. Mobile Edge. Still going on. What's going on with Wiggy and Nuke and Mobile Edge? That is Tyler Lansdale closing on the back of him. Did something happen to Wiggy then? It's Wiggy going that sideways. That's around and around. Thank God for ghosting, because that could have been a really nasty accident. Ghosting straight through him there. That went horribly wrong for Wiggy, spinning that car around. Right, so that puts Wiggy down into 6th position. He's ahead of Tyler, but you've got Tyler all over the back of him. Nuke's back there as well. I think Nuke had a problem. Oh yeah, Nuke's got damage. Can we see where he picked that up? Can we? No, he's already got it by the time we hit the replay. So Nuke has got to now decide whether to pit early and repair that damage. Is it worthwhile? Is he losing enough pace? We'll find out at the end of this lap if that's what he opts to do. He didn't go at the end of the last lap, and he had the damage then. So can he stay with this battle? So Wiggy is now behind Tyler. Tyler's found that way through. He's still got a lot of work to do though for top 4. And the big winner there, though, of course, Mobile Edge, up into 5th position. He was actually at the back of that battle between Wiggy and Nuke earlier on, and now finds himself lucking out. Wiggy had that spin, Nuke's had a little bit of a foray into a wall somewhere. And I love how the weather looks quintessentially British countryside, with those dark clouds. Of course, Brands Hatch is just literally down the road from me in West Kingswood, not far from here at all, half-hour drive tops, which surprises me why I don't go there more often, because I'm lazy essentially, and I don't like spending money doing anything at all. Just 22 miles outside London, and it's been around since the 1940s. It started out actually in the 1920s as a cycling track, and it was literally just an oval. So it was made up of this section here, the section going down to turn 1, and then it literally came straight back on itself, didn't go up towards Druids then, came back on itself to the Graham Hill section, down to Surtees, and then back up again. A yellow flag up ahead. Who's that on the grass? Is that Tyler yet again? No, that's Mobile Ledge. So Mobile Ledge having a little bit of a foray into the sandy bit, into turn 1 he goes, loses it into the braking zone, just too hard on those brakes, round he goes. Did rescue it before it went in the sand, but that allowed everybody to catch him back up. So we're certainly seeing some car control issues, seeing the cars getting smacked around a bit. So just where we are now, they would go back onto the right, up to the right. Basically the Indy circuit without Druids was originally for push bikes and cross country runners. Then during the war it was used for parking up and stuff. It was bombed quite a lot by the Germans during that Second World War. Then they introduced in the 1940s they introduced the Druids section of the racetrack, and then it was about, I think, 1950s, 1960s, if I remember rightly, it might actually been 1960. They put in planning permission to Kent County Council, who and they essentially added all of this bit that they're on now, right the way down to here, added to the circuit. It's had I think 11 or 12 British Grand Prix held here, Formula 1 Grand Prix. No longer does that. That's now obviously at Silverstone, which is I wouldn't say a far superior track. They're very different racetracks. Silverstone is clearly suited better for the single-seater faster stuff. This is much more akin to your kind of bumper-to-bumper, body-to-body kind of racing. Brands Hatches. And the thing about Brands Hatch, particularly the kidney bean stuff, so this bit here, it's a natural amphitheatre. So wherever you stand on the racetrack for this section, you can see everything that goes on. Obviously now the pit buildings are there, you can't see that, but prior to those pit buildings being there, anyway, it didn't matter where you stood around the circuit, you could watch the racing. And that was kind of what started it all out with its original shape. Right, let's have a little run through, shall we? That is your race leader. That's the Truth Serum. He's hardly half a second clear, no, not even that. 3/10 clear of Bonnie Val, who's got himself back ahead of Sharky. So that's your top 3, separated by just 1 second. The same distance separates the top 3, pretty much separates Sharky and Stormfly back there in 4th. Good little battle going on for the lead of the race at the moment. The Truth Serum had a good little run, pretty much up to the first pit window. That's Bonnie Val making the move. He's got the inside line. He's ahead of the Truth Serum going into turn 1 under braking, and Sharky getting drifting that car around that corner. That's what this car is all about. That's what this sports car racing is about. Letting that back end just flick you around the corner, having a little bit of fun with it. It doesn't really do much for your tyres, but tyre wear is not going to be the huge considering factor here. It's all about the fuel. So we're going to see, I think, certainly end of lap 12 is going to be the cut-off point where cars are going to make it to lap 11 and lap 12. There's no point looking at tyre choices because we know everybody's on those sports softs. That's Sharky getting the run on the Truth Serum now, heading down the hill to Truth, holding the inside line though, so in the hope that Sharky's going to get the move done, of course, before they hit this right-hander. But Sharky now up to second, but Bonnie Val's used that opportunity where he got ahead at the beginning of the lap just to open up a 1 second gap over Sharky, so he's got some work to do now to close that. And of course he's got to follow as well. It's not easy. It's not easy to follow another car through here. So Stormfly's closed right up, so that battle has allowed Stormfly to close the gap. 2.3 seconds separates the top 4. They are 14 seconds clear of Tyler, who's worked his way back up through the order, up into 5th position. We will go down and have a look of what battles are going on back there. So that's the first to bring Bonival into the pits. Being a Padroa, he's always going to have that little bit more wear than everybody else, but he goes in early. Is that going to be an opportunity for an overcut for everybody else? So Sharky, I think Sharky, The Truth, Stormfly, they're all going to come in the end of this lap. Tyler is as well. Bonival's in. Mobile Ledge is in as well. Out he comes. He's left the same tyres on. I think that's actually a very, very wise choice. He knows he's going to have to pit again at some stage. It didn't make sense to fill up and weigh the car down too much. And certainly nothing wrong with the tyres. It saves us off a couple of seconds there. So he comes back out in 6th position. TJ in 7th at the moment, 14 seconds back. Mobile Ledge is just coming out of the pits now into turn 1. TJ is up just the other side of Druids. Nuke out of the pits as well. Fubar in the pits. He's just coming out now. He's opted to fill the car to the absolute brim. So his second stop is going to be a very short one, just for a splash of fuel. It may be that these tyres are good enough actually to make it all the way to the end of the race without changing them out at all. Old man Jay there, he's still got plenty of fuel in the car. Doesn't need to pit, just like, did he pit much earlier? He hasn't actually put much through his tyres. No, I don't think he has pit. He's got loads of fuel left, so is he holding something back then? But this could be interesting. If the longer he can go in the race, actually, he might come back into this by virtue of being of not having to pit as much. Right, that's the front 3 all in. Tyler, I think we'll see him come in as well, and Wiggy, and they're really close, these two. So still a good battle between these two. Into the pits they come. Where's Bonival? Here comes Bonnie. He's going to retake the lead of this race, but how big is his gap going to be? That is what we're looking at. So through he comes. He's back into the lead. Into turn 1 he goes, flicking that Securicore car round that bend. Stormfly is out. He's up to 2nd. He's jumped Sharky in the pits. Sharky's filled to the absolute brim. Now they are all going to need another stop, but this throws the pit stop strategies all over the place. They're all going to pit now at different times, so it's going to be interesting to see whether that full tank strategy is going to work for Sharky. It seems to be the favoured strategy. Bonival went for a half tank. Stormfly about 3/4. Sharky, we can show you a quick one. You see there, Sharky's gone for a full tank, as did The Truth. I know it looks like it's going to run, folks. It's not. Tyler also went for a full tank. Mobile Edge did the same thing. Didn't go for fresh tyres. Wiggy put on fresh sport softs and a full tank of fuel. So he's going to have to get his tyres back up to temperature because they won't be where they were. But that shows the difference. He went in straight behind Tyler. He's now about 4 seconds back just by virtue of changing tyres. But does that mean his second stop's going to be much shorter? Because he doesn't do that. 5.4 to Nuke, he changed everything out as well. Fubar just filled up with fuel. TJ, fresh tyres and fuel. Old man Jay, he's still staying out there, and he's not going to have to pit for a couple more laps yet. He might actually take this to lap 15, which would be if he can take it to lap 15, he can one stop this race. That's something worth considering. That's 25 seconds on its own, and he's only 15 seconds behind TJ. So this could prove to be a blisteringly clever strategy. But of course, he's got to hold it out to lap 15, of course. Right, so Bonival does lead the way in the Securicore Amigos Racing Team car, and it's not that quintessentially Amigos as we usually see. Gone for something a little bit different, a bit of a throwback to one of these racing cars of old, with the Listerine and the Securicore Omega Express logos. 7.8 seconds clear though, massive jump just by underfueling that massive amount. Of course, the difference is going to be when he goes in for his next stop. He's going to have to put that little bit more fuel in than everybody else, so that might offset, but at the moment he's looking really strong. 8 seconds clear in the lead at the moment, and he does have that fastest lap as well. 139.4. That's Stormfly. He is 3.5 seconds ahead of Sharky. How long can he hold him behind? 39.8 for him. Sharky with 39.5 as the fastest lap. That's assuming if they can keep up that pace regularly. It's going to be 10 or so laps before Sharky really is on the back of us. It depends how quickly how consistently he can go faster and Stormfly up ahead. But it's going to be some work to do before that happens. That's why I'm so dehydrated today. As I said, I got up crazy early this morning to do an airport run, so yeah. Alright. The truth, who started the pole, was the race leader. Back now in 4th position. Mobile Edge into the pits from 8th position. That's to repair some damage, so he's had a little foray with a wall somewhere. He's coming to repair that to keep up the pace. Now that loses him a place back in 9th. That'll put him about 2.5 seconds behind Fubar once he's up to speed. And he's got TJ now all over the back of him like an unwanted sexually transmitted disease. Bear with me. I've just got to do something. So TJ right up behind Mobile Edge after Mobile Edge comes out of the pits in 9th position. Shut up, dog, you're an idiot. There is TJ there. We can see him putting some pressure on the back. Now, bear in mind, the Mobile Edge is just repaired. His tyres are going to be cold. It's going to be a difficult thing to do to keep TJ behind him, particularly if he gets in that slipstream. And you can see there, he's using that toe to just pull him along, although it seems that Mobile Edge got a much better exit out of Surtees than TJ did, and he's just struggling to stay behind him, also to get closer behind him, should I say. But a decent battle there, because Fubar's only a couple of seconds up the road there, so that could be an interesting battle coming up for them. 7 seconds up to Nuke, who's 10 seconds behind Wiggy at the moment, but we can see all the strategies very, very different in terms of fuel now, so we won't really see where people slot in because of strategies until sometime after lap 30. Maybe lap 40 is when we'll start seeing really where they are, but we'll see. Okay, distance out in the lead. It's opening up. Bonnie Val now 9 seconds clear out front. We do know he's going to have to pit somewhere around lap 25, 26 maybe, for his second stop. And then obviously he's got to try and then take it to the end of the race. He's gone for short filling. Now he's coming up behind. I think that'll be Old Man Jay up ahead of him. He's going to use that bit of slipstream. Jay will stay to that right hand side. Through comes Bonnie Val, and we can see there's Old Man Jay getting his blue flags. Follow him, follow his line, my man, follow his line. Right, so yeah, Bonnie Val leading the way now, quite some way. Stormfly holding that gap to Sharky behind, and that is Sharky just coming into shot in the distance there in that LRC car. So Stormfly up to second, Sharky 3.4 seconds back, and not closing as quickly as I'm sure he would like to, although pit-wise they are on very different strategies. Stormfly going to be pitting somewhere around lap 28, 29, 30ish, depends on when he can hold out on the fuel. The Truth, he's on a similar strategy to Sharky, and 5.9 or 6 seconds for the want of rounding up behind the Australian driver at the moment. There was some question over diffusers and stuff. Well, we can actually have a look at this. So what's the best way to look at this? Let's do it. Let's go. We can do it from here, I think. So you can see there at the back of his car, he's got the standard stock diffuser on the back. Sharky has gone for that more aerodynamic choice of diffuser, and a different rear wing as well. You'll notice Truth's got the standard one that comes with it. Sharky's gone for a different rear wing. Now, aesthetically, it makes a difference, obviously, but for the purposes of actual speed, it doesn't make a difference when you've got BOP turned on, because everybody's PP is the same. Everyone's car does perform the same. We can see here that actually Sharky is not outperforming anybody. Now, look, usually we see Sharky in and around the lead of this race, but he's not outperforming anybody with that additional kit, which kind of shows that it doesn't have any real effect or any effect at all on the car in terms of pace. And certainly we did testing was done with and without the wings on it, and there was really no difference in pace. I mean, I know it was at my pace, but still, you would have thought if it's going to make a difference with anybody, it will make more of a difference with somebody slower. If you can make the car aerodynamically fast. Stormfly still 3 seconds clear of Sharky, who's desperately trying to close that gap. Bonneville now 11 seconds clear. He has decided to go bat out of hell like an absolute crazy man and open up the gate. Now he will realise, and he would have looked, when people come out of the pits, he would have looked and seen how they feel like fuel and that kind of thing. So he'll know that he's got to pit relatively soon in comparison to those around him. He may well do, he may not, who knows. But his game plan is simple. Short stop, short fill, get out in front and make a big gap for himself. And that's exactly what he's going to do. 11 seconds clear. If he can, well, essentially he's going to need to double that and a few more seconds to give himself essentially a free pit stop, but he's certainly got half a pit stop free at the moment, which is exactly what you're looking for. And you want to give yourself as much advantage as possible, and 11 seconds is half of, well, just under half of a free pit stop for him. Right, the chase is on now. Sharky's got it to under 3 seconds and starting to put the squeeze on. Stormfly see that time coming down, but it may be that he hits his pit window before Sharky hits the dirty air at the back of his car. Who knows? Wiggy and Tyler, they had a great battle through the sprint. They had a couple of little battles earlier. They both went into the pits, separated by very, very little. Tyler put in similar amount of fuel, but Wiggy changed his tyres, which made a difference of about 4 seconds. He has closed the gap a little bit, 3.8, but it's not hugely significant at the moment. But again, because he's got fresh tyres on, he won't necessarily need to change them in that next stop, and Tyler might find that he wants to, just to get himself some extra grip towards the end of the race. Nuke running in 7th. Pretty clear air, nothing really for him to see. I suppose if he looks up the hill there, he might see TJ coming round, although he can't see him now, because he is some way back, 8.5 back. Mobile Edge though, little battle going on there. Mobile Edge and TJ, just half a second separating the American and the Dutchman as they head down towards Surtees into that braking zone. Braking in a very, very similar place. You can see there Mobile Edge trying to find a way through. He's got that same wing and diffuser that Sharky's got on his, but I don't think it's making a significant difference at all to the performance of the cars. Well, we can see there Sharky's not significantly outperforming Bonneville at all. Right, so Mobile Edge, he's getting closer to the back of TJ. Has he got some way of making a move? TJ's holding him off as best he can, but Mobile is looking at a little bit quicker, but we know that he's susceptible to a mistake or two. He has already damaged that car and had to do some repairs. Does he put himself in a position where he needs to do that again? And TJ going wide there. I certainly don't think it was an intention. It's coming back onto the racetrack side by side. They are little touchy. They're going to drag race it. That's a slow car, I think, that was holding them up. So I think that was old man Jay they were coming up behind, and I don't think Mobile Edge realised it was a slow car. Couldn't get in. He was side by side with TJ. Couldn't get tucked in. Realised a little bit too late that was a back marker. had to slow right up, and that's cost him a little bit in this battle. Quite smart driving from TJ there to just that. Oh, and he's gone wide, very wide. That's going to allow Jay to come back through, and Fubar to close that gap a little bit. So that's some battle that Mobile Legends got to go back and do more of. He was so close to making a move on TJ. TJ going a little bit wide at one stage. They went side by side in that little smart move. He used the back marker as a kind of blocking mechanism almost. But Mobile Legends should have known it was a back marker and made a plan accordingly. And I think I'll put that down to just a driver error there. It's about knowing where all your cars are on the racetrack. I think from his perspective, he didn't know it was a back marker, or maybe he didn't expect it to be going a little bit faster than it was. But he took a gamble. Now, if Jay had been going much faster, and it looked like Jay had actually slowed up to let him through, he may have picked up a slipstream off the back of him, and that may have aided him with making a move into the final corner, which of course is the Clark curve. Fubar now only 1.5 behind Mobile Ledge. He's looking at rescuing from that first lap incident that he kind of got caught up in, where he was kind of hit by someone who got hit. It was Stormfly hit the back of Tyler, and Tyler just got shunted into Fubar, but that does need to be picked apart by the stewards and looked at from a few angles to see exactly who was at fault there, whether it was a racing incident or whether there is some blame to be handed out, and if so, who to and in what proportion. As we see again, Mobile Ledge takes a very risky line coming out of turn one. I don't know quite why he does that coming through Paddock Hill. He seems to enjoy going right over onto the gravel, but it's not the wisest decision. That's when it's all going to go horribly wrong, when you keep going out there on the gravel. And it's giving Fubar that little bit of opportunity to just start closing on the back of it. That is Old Man Jay there. We can see there that's Mobile Ledge and Fubar Falantis behind him. Is he involved in the decision now? And he's just come out of the pits, to be fair, by the looks of things, because he's got lovely fresh tyres. He hasn't been out long. Did he make it to lap 15? He's going very, very wide there, but does manage to hold on to it. You can see their Mobile Ledge is closing. He wants to get past him as quickly as possible. He doesn't want to get embroidered in a little battle and let Fubar get any closer if he can help it. He's making a little move up the inside, makes the move past Jay. Jay stays there. Fubar just picking up a little bit of slipstream. A lot of people jumping into the room today, and not recognising that the race is actually underway. I wonder why that is. I think that's something that PD need to. And to be fair, read the fucking room name, man. Clearly, it's not something you've been invited to. If you look at the room name, you can see that it's a league race, right? It's not a league race. It's something you've ever been involved in. So you know you're not supposed to be there. So why come in the fucking room and potentially disrupt the connection? Idiots. But there we have it. So people just are idiots. And there he goes. Ali loves a drink. Yeah, and doesn't like reading much. Right, Bolivar is still opening up that lead. He's going to pit now. Probably in the lap. If he doesn't pit now, it's going to be the end of lap 23. He will change out his tyres this time. I'm sure of it. We know that he's got to the halfway point. Now the question is, does he do 2 more stops, or just this one stop and run all the way to the end with a full tank of fuel? We know the tyres will last. He's sort of done that test there, essentially, by leaving those tyres on. Stormfly still in second. I think it's going to take about 10 laps, but still 1.9 seconds Sharky's got fined. He's not eating in to Stormfly as much as he would like to, by any stretch of the imagination. But again, Stormfly is going to pit. Now I imagine it's going to be a couple of laps shy of that 2/3 point, that kind of magic lap 30, whereas Sharky's going to have to go beyond that. Can he go to the end? I don't think he can go to the end. I certainly don't think he can go to the end. What are we looking about? 11, 12, 13 laps. I don't know, 13, 17, 35. Yeah, he won't have enough fuel to get to the end, so he will have to stop again. Interesting though, interesting battle, because he's not finding that typical 2 seconds a lap faster than anything else that moves Sharky pace. The young Australian here, not the same affinity with the road cars that he has with those race spec GR3 and GR4 monsters. Truth's still in that no man's land, still very much running his own little race by himself. He's got no challenge up ahead, no challenge behind either. He looks up the hill, and the cars closest to him just coming out of Paddock Hill now, so he's got plenty of breathing room behind. There is Tyler, that's the closest driver to him. He's staying ahead of Wiggy, 2.6 seconds clear of the Welshman. But they're on very similar race stretches, so certainly something worth considering, whether Wiggy's holding something back to have a little attack later, whether he's going to be able to make a move on him in the pits later, or whether he, and the other issue of course, that he changed his tyres where Tyler did not. So is he going to pull that kind of, he lost basically 4 seconds to Tyler, so he is closing, because there was nothing between them when they went in, and Bonnie Valley is actually in at the end of lap 23, so we should see Stormfly come around and take the lead of this race. But how long will he lead for? Because he'll have to put himself in probably 4 or 5 laps, so certainly worth a little look at that in a while. Right, so Stormfly through, Sharky is through. What about the Truth? Will he make it through? It looks that way, yes indeedy. Just though, because there is Bonnie Vale coming out of the pits, and it kind of, I think it caught the Truth serum by surprise a little bit, because he was running well into turn 1, and you can see there that I don't think he expected to see that blue car coming out of the pits to his right hand side, because it's there, look. And it's almost caught him by surprise, the back just stepping out. That could have gone horribly wrong. It has given the upper hand to the current championship leader, but yeah, I think that surprised him a little bit. Almost like Bonnie Vale came out and went boo, and the Canadian was, oh, what the fuck? Pepsi. Excuse me. Alright, Tyler Lansdale, there he is. He's still much ahead of Wiggy. What happened there is someone made a mistake somewhere. Looks like Wiggy might have made a little error, has he? Yeah, he did. On that last lap he lost 13 seconds. So all of that hard work busted. He's got no damage, but he's going to have to do all that work again and some. Right, Stormfly's in a little bit earlier than I expected to see him come in. Lap 24. He could have held out for a few more laps. Is that a kind of reaction to Bonnie Valley? Is that a whatever he does, I'm going to do kind of scenario for him? Certainly how it looks. So Stormfly in, and he's now in 5th place as Tyler goes through. Wiggy might come through as well. We'll soon see about that. Stormfly doesn't need to get out ahead of him. Yeah, so he does get out ahead of him. 12 seconds is that gap. Now it's 26 seconds from Sharky. Sharky, we know, is going to stay out for quite some time, but he's going to have to pit again at some stage. What did Stormfly do fuel-wise? Right, so Stormfly is going to the end of the race. The gap between him and Sharky, 27 seconds. So the key is how long Sharky is in the pits, and if Sharky can pull a bit of a gap. Bonival, has he put in enough fuel to get to the end of this race? I don't think he has, you know. I think Bonival is going to need to pit again. I think he's under-fueled this car. Now, that's an interesting turn up for the books, isn't it? Because I don't think he's got enough fuel in there to go to the end. Now, that brings the truth majorly back into this. He does, of course, need to pit again himself, but he's going to pit sooner than Bonival. And he might, I think this might give the truth an opportunity. Tyler's going to have to pit again as well, but yeah, I think he's going to put himself in a little bit of trouble here. Stormfly doesn't, so Stormfly certainly is going to have to. He's going to be giving Bonival something to think about. Wiggy does need to pit again. Is that damage for Nuke? What happened to him there? He was running quite comfortably on his own for a bit. What happened? Did he catch the grass there? No, he looked all right there. Heading down Dingle Dell. It's here, isn't it? Yeah, he's got all out of shape there. The back steps out and just plows him into that wall. And not the greatest of places to crash. So he's got he's managed to dig himself out. He didn't have anyone around him to have to worry too much. But that has put Mobile Edge significantly closer to him. And of course, taking him much, much further away from Wiggy in 6th position. There is Mobile Ledge. He's only 1.8 ahead of TJ. TJ can still put him under pressure. He was again, he loves dicing with two wheels on that gravel. It's just such a dangerous game he's playing. We've seen how easy it is to lose your car there. We've seen Tyler do it. We've actually seen Mobile Ledge do it himself. So you would have thought you just try and avoid taking that risk again. But alas, he's pushing it to the limit, which is what you want to see. Oh, that went horribly wrong. Let's have a look from inside the cockpit on that one. You can see there, the drift started so well into Surtees. He's on the power, heading down to Surtees, and it looked like he was going to whip that car lovely around the corner. But as he tried to correct it, and the car just regained grip, that's what happened. I think he overcorrected. The car regained all the grip he didn't really want to get back. He wanted the car to kind of only partially respond to his input and just kind of rescue, but it fully gripped in and dug in, and that cost him some space significantly. He's back now in 10th. So again, Mobile Edge not having the greatest of races. He's now down in 10th. Old man Jay, is he in? I think he'll be in pits resting. He is currently on lap 25, so a lap back from these guys currently chasing him down. So 4.6 now behind Fubo. He's got some work to do there. 5.9 to TJ, who was only 1.8 seconds behind him. That's Nuke, who's 7.9 up the road, and he is 18.5 behind Wiggy. Stormfly is 11 seconds ahead of him. Wiggy was pretty close to catching Tyler in 4th, but he had a bad lap, and it's cost him some time, unfortunately. There is the truth. He is running in 3rd. He's 4.4 behind Bonival. Bonival, we think he's going to have to stop again. He's got the fastest lap of the race, 39.4. Sharky will stop a little bit sooner. So everybody in the top 5 has to stop again, other than Stormfly. Now he is nearly 29 seconds off the current leader, which is Sharky, which is a little bit more than the pit loss. So he's going to have to do a bit of work on the racetrack. But I think he's going to be relying on how much fuel Sharky puts on board, and possibly if he can keep the pace up, he's in a really, really good position here to certainly for a top 3, but potentially to upset the apple cart, to upset the Bonnie and Sharky show, as it's been so often through this GT Alpha series. It's been the Bonnie and Sharky show, but Stallfly's been in and around amongst it and really does get involved with those top 3 battles. Is this where he sets down his stall and says, right, this is me, I'm in this now, let's have some. Currently running in 5th with a good chance, good chance of not only just a podium but a first place finish once everyone goes into the pits. There's Tyler for LRC. He's gone for the slightly different colour on that car, although it is pretty much the same as, or it's on the same spec as the other LRC cars. Well, he's actually full stock actually, which is very true. 12 seconds behind that top 3. That's a bit of an ask for him to get in the top 3 because all those 3 cars he has to stop, as well as all those 3 cars ahead of him as well. The truth is 6 seconds behind Bonnie Val. 7.1 behind Sharky. Sharky is starting just to do exactly what Bonnie Val did when he was in the lead, which is just start to put in consistent laps, up that pace, and try and maintain that lead. Give himself the best possible buffer when he does have to pit, which will be, I imagine, around lap 35, lap 36 will be Sharky's pit window, which will give him a short fill and then a run to the end. And I think he'll probably change out his tyres. Bonnie Val won't necessarily need to do that, but he will need to put on some fuel. There's no way that's going the full 15 laps to the end with what he's got, unless of course he's planning on a lot of short shifting and hoping for a hella slipstream to pull him along and fuel map his way home. But I think he's on the field. I really do. So what's going on this week? While we wait for something to happen, not a great deal in all fairness. Well, I'll say that Wednesday. I have my first shift as a hospital radio DJ, and I can hear everyone out there listening thinking, hospital radio DJ, what a knob. Listen, I have been known to do a lot of volunteer work in the past. Haven't done much since lockdown. Just purely, I was doing a hell of a lot before lockdown. Obviously, none of it, I couldn't do any of it during lockdown, and my priorities changed, and I wanted a kind of different vision for myself. So I gave up what I was doing then, which was involved in football, of course. But I do like to give back sometimes, and I know that I do act like a bit of a knob at times, but I think it's everybody's duty to do something, to give up their time for somebody or something less fortunate than them. But there's no reason why you can't find something that you enjoy in order to do that and to give back to other people. So it made sense to me that the people in hospital need, some of them rely on that as their only source of comfort when they're in hospital. And it's not it's a relatively professional setup, to be fair. And I figured, what do I like doing? I like talking a lot about very little. And at least this one, I love music, of course. I absolutely love. I'm not going to get to play as much of my own selection, but I do love music of all kinds. So I get the opportunity to play some records, to put a smile on a couple of people's faces, and spend a couple of hours waffling away. I will. I'm not sure. I'm not going to. I was going to put the link to the website up to the website. I'm not going to, because I have a funny feeling that a number of people would just be taking the piss and ringing into the studio and just making absolute knobs of themselves. So I'm not going to do it. There we go. Decision made. Decision is made. So that's going to be me on Wednesday and subsequent Wednesdays. And it's not my own show. I'll be working with someone else for a few weeks while I get my handle on the equipment and the setup and all that kind of thing. And then I'll have my own show at some stage. I don't know when that's going to be. I'm going to have to juggle my diary a little bit. It won't be Wednesdays, because Wednesdays is quite a busy broadcasting day ordinarily. It's only because when they've just become free, that fits in quite nicely. In terms of broadcasting, we've got, obviously we're back with Alphas next week. That will be on Saturday, of course, and then Sunday a brand new series comes to blow. Who was that crashing out there? Was that Old Man J? No, it wasn't. Fubar, Mobile Edge, TJ maybe. Yeah, that was TJ. TJ getting it all kinds of wrong there. So we can see he comes down. Where does he lose it? It's that same part of that grass as you come around that corner. Just, the back end is bam, ploughing him into the wall. Can't park that there, mate. You cannot park that there. So TJ got significant damage. He's going to have to repair that. That's front. That's front and wheel and suspension damage. He's going to have to repair that. It's going to cost him too much time. Mobile Edge closing right down on the back of him. Yeah, as I was saying, so we've got next Sunday. We've got a brand new season starting it's called Simza, and it is an endurance championship, mixture of 1 hour and 90-minute races over the course of, I think it's 6. This is 12 back to back. I can't remember. I think it's 12 races back to back in iconic tracks such as Nordschleife, Spa, Suzuka, all the tracks you would associate with endurance racing. But it's multi-class and multi-lobby. GR3 and GR4, or is it GR2 and GR3 cars operating on the same track across multiple lobbies, both myself and Quentis. We'll be broadcasting those live every Sunday from next Sunday, so looking forward to that. And then of course we've got the exclusive Race Week 3 and beyond of the Community Team Championship coming up as well, which will be a staple for Black Flag Racing TV. That will be on multiple different broadcasters, not just myself, but also Jaeger and many others broadcasting it live here on Black Flag Racing TV. So watch this space, and there is some other exciting stuff happening soon. Right, TJ's opted to stay out, which has allowed Mobile Edge to get really close to the back of him. The back end is stepping out again on TJ's car. And, we'll be able to, if we look at TJ's car, you can see the damage on the front of that as Mobile Edge making that move. When we get to you can see the damage there on the front of TJ's car. Mobile Edge getting that move done. Does he come round into the pits? No. TJ staying out yet again. That gives Fubar a real opportunity now. Fubar on his final stint, he's been into the pits. TJ has already been in, which is probably why he's reluctant to repair. But that's going to be costing him significant time every single lap, which is going to allow Fubar to start closing in on him. And I would personally, I think with a 10-second gap, he's better off pitting and then trying to fight it back on the racetrack. Mobile Edge, he's going to the end. Nuke, he's going to the end as well. Wiggy hasn't yet pitted. He's going to go one more lap, then I think he'll come in and he'll be ready for his final stint. But he's got more than a pit stop over Nuke at the moment in 7th. Ahead of him, The Truth Serum, he's finally pitted. He's back out in 5th. He's 2.6 ahead of Wiggy. 7.3 behind Tyler, who still needs to pit. So The Truth's going to be back in that top 4, potentially fighting for a top 3 when Tyler comes in at the end of this lap. Stormfly, we know, is running to the end of this race. This is lap 33 of 45. We're nearly at the 1 hour mark, actually. It's proven to be quite a long race, this one, which is good. I like it a lot. Bonnie Val, I think he needs to pit again for fuel. He closed that gap to Sharky now to 5.3 seconds. Sorry, someone looking at my 5.3 seconds is the gap to Sharky. It was almost 8 seconds, so he's done a really smart job of closing up that gap. But of course, we know he has to pit. We know Sharky's going to pit, I think, probably this lap. Or certainly not this lap, but it'll certainly be on lap 35. We'll see him go in. And that will... that'll be interesting to see how Bonnie deals with that, because we know he's got pit again. We know he hasn't got enough fuel to go. Now, does he go in when Sharky goes in? He's going to have to put less fuel in. That's the one thing we do know. He's going to have less fuel to put in. As Tyler in from 4th place. So The Truth move up into that top 4 now, 10 seconds behind De Truth. Wiggy also into the pits from 6th. They've both got more than a pit stop over Nuke in 7th. Nuke's not going to catch them at this stage. But this is the battle that's interesting because Stormfly is 26 seconds back, which is about a pit stop. It's 31 seconds back for Chuck, certainly 26 seconds back from Bonnie Val. Now we know that Bonnie's got a pit because there's not enough fuel in there to take him to the end of this race. He doesn't have to put as much fuel in as Sharky will. Sharky is almost empty. I think the wise choice is to go in when Sharky goes in, or certainly no more than one lap afterwards. That is a big thing of Cola bottles just put in front of me. It's diabetes in a little paper cup with a plastic lid. Yummy. Right, so he's staying out another lap, so he's going to go to the end of lap 35. Bonnie following him, he's still getting closer, still closing that gap, but when does he go in? Right, looking down the order, let's do a full rundown before we see when Sharky and Bonnie Val go in. So there's Old Man Jay still on lap 32. He's some laps back. He's been really struggling with the car and track. Doesn't like the car, doesn't like the track, but putting the effort in, staying in the fight either way to get the points. Fubar Fernandez running there in 10th now. He's 19 seconds behind TJ. He has pit. TJ's got significant damage. Now the question is whether he can find some pace. Now he is capable of 141 highs. If he can find some 141 consistency, TJ is in the 42, so he's not actually losing a huge amount of time despite that damage, although Mobile Ledge is pulling away from him up in 8th. He's 17 seconds behind Nuke. He's not going to catch him at this stage. That's blue flags for I think that's for that's for the cars up here. Wiggy 32 seconds ahead of him. He's done his final pit stop. He's opted not to put the tyres on. He's 7.7 behind Tyler. Tyler's got fresh tyres, he's got fresh fuel. I don't think pace differential is much between these. Wiggy capable of those high 140s, Tyler the low 141s. I think the gap's too big. Right, Sharky's in, Bonnie Val goes through, but we know that fuel will not take him to the end of the race. Where's Stormfly? Is he close enough with Sharky to get ahead? That's a mistake from Stormfly. The last thing he wanted to do at this stage, pushing. You can see that he made a mistake on the previous stage, lost 3 seconds on lap 34. He's going to have lost probably the same again there. So that's going to cost him in that fight to get ahead of Sharky. Sharky now out of the pits, round through Druids, and he's away, staying on those tyres. So Stormfly just couldn't find the pace to catch him, still 20 seconds back. So to be fair, even with the 6 seconds that he it looks like he lost over those 3 seconds there, 4, 5, yeah, 5, I would say 5 seconds that he lost, he still wouldn't have caught Sharky, which surprised me. I thought Sharky was going to get caught there, but alas, no. Stormfly with damage as well, which is going to affect his lap times. Does that bring the truth back into this fight? He's only 5.5 seconds behind. There are 9 laps remaining. His last lap was a 140.8, so say 41 lows, which seems to be his consistent pace. Stormfly now, is he dropping out into those 42 mids with that damage? If so, the truth could catch him before the end of this race and potentially steal a podium position. Podium position we thought was an absolute shoo-in for Stormfly earlier on. I thought he might be higher up the grid, but it looks like those front two have just done enough. Right, 13.4 seconds is the gap. Bonnie Val does need to pit, and I think he should have done it already. I think he's left it. He should have. I think waiting for Sharky to pit wasn't the right choice. I think the moment Sharky goes in, if you can follow him in that lap, he couldn't do that obviously, but he could have come in the following lap. You want to negate the loss as much as possible. plus give yourself enough laps for a chase down if a chase down is on. Bear in mind that he didn't have to put in he wouldn't have had to put in as much fuel as Sharky, so he would have had less time to stop. But there we have it. So Sharky's going to push now, and push. He might. And I think Sharky might have done enough to win this race. I think it's just purely for his smart strategy. I think Bonnie Val got his strategy wrong. I think with Bonnie, sorry, Coda Bottles was just so yummy. I think if Bonnie fills to fuel to the end of the race in his last stop, and Bonnie's winning this race, he's already 14 seconds clear, and he knows he doesn't have to stop again. But yeah, got the strategy wrong there, I'm afraid. Trying to see if there's any other battles. Right, so that is Bolivar into the pits now for his final stop. No other battles on the racetrack. Everyone pretty spread out now in these final stages of this race. The Truth closing on Stormfly, and we expected to see this happen with Stormfly's damage. Now this is TJ was in a position where I think he probably should have pit, although he's not losing huge amounts of time to Fubar. Fubar's still 14 seconds back. He needs to find a bit more pace if he wants to catch him. But if you consider that TJ's last couple of laps have been 45, 44, 43, Fubar can do consistent 41s. He's just done a 41.5. He could potentially catch him. So I think TJ might have been better off repairing. I don't think the situation is the same for Stormfly, but despite having very similar damage, albeit to the other side of the car. Because he's 4.6 ahead of the Truth. So if he pits now, he loses 4th. He probably also loses 5th. And there isn't a lot of time left for him to regain that. And their pace is very, very similar. So he's essentially got about 7 laps to try and hold off the charge of the Canadian driver from Sector 7, who is closing pretty rapidly on the back of his BMW. The fact it's 4.5 seconds gives him just that little bit of breathing time, and he knows 4.5 seconds essentially, if he can limit the loss to under half a second a lap, he's pretty much keeping away from him. The question, of course, is whether the Truth can maintain that pace. And of course, if either of them make a mistake, it could change significantly the outcome. Tyres are not going to be a problem for Stormfly, neither is fuel. The Truth is pretty fresh in that regard. We'll have a look at what the lap times are for them at the end of this lap. The Truth is 2 tenths down on his previous, which is a 41.0. So Stormfly coming around the Clark curve now into that Brabham straight, across the line, and then we'll see what his last lap was, which I think is going to be in those 1:41s thereabout. Yeah, 41.0. So yeah, that's not a bad pace considering the damage. If the Truth is a low 40s, then this is game on. 40.9. So he's not taking enough out of him at this stage to catch him. If it stays as it is, Stormfly's going to hold on in 3rd. So Bolivar does come back out in 2nd, head of Stormfly. He's only 1.2 seconds though behind Sharky. This is race on. It's a very, very short pit loss here. This is absolutely race on to the line. The Aussie driver ahead of him does have older rubber, which should hold out. It shouldn't be causing any problems, to be fair. But the tyres are obviously going to be towards the end of the race in worse condition than that of Bonnie. In terms of fuel, you can see there that Bonnie's got that. He's probably over where he underfueled last time. He's probably overfueled a little bit this time, but that gives him that extra little bit of fuel to push. He doesn't have to concern himself with fuel saving. So I think in that scenario, he may have got a few litres less. He would have got himself out ahead of Sharky, but he might not have had that additional fuel he needed to defend possibly, or even attack him as he's trying to do now. The gap 1.4 seconds. Bonnie is the fastest man out there with a 1:39.4. Sharky's fastest lap was way back when. He wasn't in 39s, but that was way back when. So the question is whether in these last 6 laps, if Bonnie Val can close that 1.3 second gap to the Australian Ripper. 1.5 is the gap right now. Okay, let's have a look at the back of the pack. Ba-dum-ba-bum-bum-bum. Boom! There's old man Jay. He is paused. Clearly you can see that because he's got his hazard lights on. So how long has he been paused for? Do we reckon? He's not gone to the pits because he's turned him off now. So maybe he's racing again now. But he was paused up until that point there. And slow the back end round there. That's Fubar. He is a couple of laps up the road, 12.9 behind TJ. Again, just putting his fast down. He's putting in the laps in the hope that someone up ahead makes a mistake. To be fair, it was always going to be a bit of an uphill battle for him after that collision on lap 1. Although the lack of consistency, if he'd stayed in those 41s, I think he would be probably ahead of Mobile Ledge at the moment. But just the lack of consistency in those lap times has cost him probably almost as much as the crash did, which of course will get looked into. Maybe penalties coming for that. Talking of penalties, that's a half-second penalty for TJ, so that will help Fubar in his quest to catch him. The gap only 11.2 seconds. I still think it's doable, you know. TJ's in those 44s, Fubar's in the 41s. He is absolutely eating into that time, almost 3 seconds a lap. So 4 laps time. So this could be a very interesting last lap showdown between Fubar and TJ. And I can assure you there are no team orders for Black Flag. It is race as you wish. Obviously, don't take your team out, but race as you wish. There are no team orders. 16.5 to Mobile Ledge. He's in a bit of a land of his own. He's been dicing with the sandy bits and the green bits, and it's thrown him off the track a few times. But when he gets it dialed in, incredibly consistent. Nuke also in no man's land. The two US drivers, seeing what they're used to seeing on those American roads, big wide open spaces and no one else around to hear you scream. 39 seconds to Wiggy. He's 8.8 behind Tyler. Never really was able to resume that battle they had going through the sprint race and through the first stint of this feature race after he came out some 4 seconds back from that first pit stop and never really regained that battle status with Tyler. 17 seconds to The Truth, who is on a charge to chase Stormfly, but not rapidly enough, I don't think, bar an error from Stormfly. And Stormfly's finding similar pace, despite the damage, he's finding similar pace to The Truth behind him. 23 seconds up the road, that is the battle for the lead. Body Round not taking big enough chunks out of Sharky at the moment. 1.3 seconds, the current gap between the two guys battling at the top of the championship table, and they've been sharing wins between them this season, and it looked at one stage like Bonnie Val might have this sewn up, but for me he got the strategy wrong. He should have filled full on his penultimate pit stop, and then he wouldn't have had to pit again, and he certainly wouldn't be having to push now. 1.1 seconds is the gap. 3.5 laps, well, not even that, 3 and a bit laps is all he has left to catch him. He needs half a second a lap to give himself a showdown on that final lap when he gets him. So here they come, round to start, lap 43 of 45, and Sharky makes a mistake coming out of the final corner, and it's all gone Pete Tong for the Aussie driver. So you can see here, and we'll go on board with him. He heads up to that Clark curve. He catches the grass on the inside there, goes a little bit too wide, loses the back end a little bit, has to slow down, comes back onto the racetrack, loses control a little bit, does catch Bonival. I don't know why he's beeping. Catches Bonival on the way back onto the track. But he has damage. Has Bonival picked up any damage? He has picked up damage. But I'm going to put that down to a racing incident. He probably was a little bit too aggressive coming back onto the track. But he didn't have control of the car. He has just apologised as well. It's one of those things. I think it's one of those things. The frustration. I genuinely don't think there was any demos intentions and malice in that move at all. He certainly didn't look like he had much control of which way the car was going. He was just trying to get it back on the racetrack, and Bonival came through. So, as it turned out, Bonival has made this work. I think it's more luck than judgment, though. I'm going to be brutally honest. I think he got it wrong with the pit stop, but more luck than judgment come his way. And sometimes you don't have to be good; you just have to be lucky. And this time he was, and he's going to win this race now. Quite some way ahead. Now the thing is, I was looking at Sharky's damage in his tyres. I don't think Stormfly's quick enough. I think if this happened 5 laps ago, Stormfly's got a chance. I think now he hasn't, and with the truth bearing down on him, I think his concern is going to be not making a mistake and losing a podium place to try and push for second, and he won't necessarily know unless he's listening, which he often does, to be fair. Hello. He won't necessarily know what happened to Sharky, certainly if he wasn't listening. Alright, Tyler there in 5th. He's not going to get caught. Wiggy's not going to get caught by Nuke. He's not going to get caught by Mobile Edge. Of course, this is assuming they don't make any errors. TJ's not going to catch Mobile Ledge. Fubar, however, is going to catch TJ, and we thought this might have a showdown at the end of the race, and showdown indeed, as TJ drifted around that final corner, does get the car back under control, only very briefly. Up the inside at Druid, Fubar Ferrantes makes that move, up into 9th he goes, and he does rescue a place finally. TJ with that damage was never going to be able to keep up the pace, but he is now tucked in the slipstream. Can he make it work for him? In terms of tyres, very similar. TJ, we know though, has that damage, so it's going to be difficult for him to find any way to get that done, I think. And there's old man Jay, still back in 11th place. He's a couple of laps back now from these guys. We know he's struggled with this car, not been happy with it in the slightest. So Bonival comes to complete the penultimate lap. 1 lap remains here at Brands Hatch. And the sky looking typically quintessentially British, looking like it's going to rain. And then you look out of another window and it looks like you need to take out a t-shirt. That's the weather in this country, right? Essentially, particularly at this time of year, you could leave your house with a jumper and flip-flops and a bikini and some sunglasses and sunblock and an umbrella, and you probably still wouldn't have enough things to cope with the weather of that day. It's that insane at the moment. I'll give you I'm sitting in shorts at the minute because it's relatively warm. I know I'm indoors, obviously, but I'm also wearing a jumper because it is a little bit chilly as well. Odd, isn't it? Odd. Nothing else doings battle-wise as TJ managed to have a go. He's still with Fubar. It's not over. It is their final lap. Of course, they are a lap down on the leaders, but it's not over for them just yet. So we'll get to see these guys cross the line. So who is on this final lead lap? Wiggy and Nuke as well. Will he be? He might be on that lead lap as well. No, he won't. Will he make it? Oh yeah, he'll get another lap, or Nuke as well, I think. So Bonival comes round the final corner, round that Clark curve. Sharky did close the gap to 1.1 seconds. Absolute charge from Sharky at the end there, but Bonival from ART makes it a double bubble today with a sprint and a feature race win. Sharky, forever the bridesmaid today, second both times. Stormfly coming home in third. Fourth for The Truth. Mobile Edge coming home in 8th place. They'll be home soon, so we'll get there. Stormfly will cross the line in third. The Truth comes home in 4th place. Tyler will be 5th, but not before Fubar. TJ right there behind him, though. He's not giving it up yet, just yet. But just ahead there. Oh, that was a great exit out of there. Is TJ going to nick this right to death? TJ has Fubar. I thought Fubar run out of fuel. He hadn't, but TJ nicks it off of Fubar right at the end of the race there. That was absolutely phenomenal. Just the exit out of the Clark curve. You can see here, I don't know what happened to Fubar, whether he struggled a bit getting back on the power. But you can see there, TJ revving the nuts out of that BMW at the end and regains that position on the final corner. Well, there was a bit more action there than we had in the sprint race. How about that then? Great finish there, and Old Man Jay. Nuke still to finish. Nuke will finish this lap. He's on his final lap now. Just a couple of corners remain. And Old Man Jay going to cross the line. He will be 3 laps back, but I'm sure breathing a sigh of relief. So there we go, Nuke finishes, and there we go, job done. Wowza, we had a bit of action at the end there, didn't we? Sharky, well, look, let's be fair, Bonnie Val got it wrong on the strategy, and then Sharky handed it back to him on a platter by making that mistake. Is what it is. That is racing for you, and that is why. So Bonnie Val manages to take that second win there. Good points for him in the championship race. Sharky back to challenging up at the business end. Stormfly coming in third. The Truth in 4th. Definitely that crash he had costed him dearly a place in that top 3. I think he would have had nailed on. Tyler finishing in 5th again. He crashed and caused himself some problems. Wiggy in 6th. Though Stormfly, there may be a penalty coming his way. There was that incident in Surtees on lap 1, which will have to be looked at. Nuke and Mobile Edge to American 7th and 8th. Screenshot that for scoring purposes. TJ regaining 9th on the final corner over Fubar Falantis, who should have, could have, would have had that nailed on, but lost it right at the death. He finishes in 10th, and Old Man Jay 3 laps back in 11th position. There we have it. We're done. That was an awesome race. Thank you very much. No, it was really cool. We're back next week. We are back to race cars. I'm sure many of the drivers involved today will be pleased. We're in the Toyota 86 at the Deep Forest Raceway. That's next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. All that's left to say is thank you very much for joining me. I've been Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV, and it's been emotional.